Right to the envelope. All right, all right. We are in the house now. Today we're going to get right into some serious stuff, but specifically for the Charlo and Canelo fight. But I got to say it to my audience. This one's going to be for the betters. So if you want to really get the bag over the weekend, you got to tune into this show and to the one Friday. And to my side, my co-host in the building, Otis. What's good with you today, brother?
What up? What up? What up, man? Just happy to be here.
Good deal, man. We about to talk some boxing, and I've just seen so many things that have happened. So all of you guys out there who are tuning in, welcome to the Fight Show, the Betters Edition, because we're going to get behind the scenes and tell you exactly what to look for over the weekend. We're going to break down some of my secret tips that I used to use as a actual handicapper for ESPN, and how did I come about putting down the Vegas decisions. And that's kind of what we used to do. And now we're going to show you some of those things, the tips and the tricks that I did, and learning how to look at a fight to master the art of knowing how to pick. If you can do that, you just got to know what to look for. So that's what we're going to get into today. And I got my man Otis, former world champion, first reality television star in boxing, and now today rocking on the Fight Show. We're about to get it in, brother. And I got a list of crazy questions. So I want to make sure that I have my Mexican followers in the building. So make sure if you're from Mexico, stand up, because we're about to pull up. It's about to go down with some. Let me see. It's Charlo just coming for the check. His energy is different. Well, I don't think that's the case, but the check ain't gonna be too small. The check ain't gonna be too small. So fortunately for all of you who will be tuning in, we got questions that we're going to follow down this path, and then I got a couple of trivia questions. But for the most part, Charlo, I looked at the press conference. I don't know if you watched the press conference yesterday, and there was a different energy. And I think more times than not, and I don't know if you guys out there watched it, but I saw a different guy in Canelo yesterday. And I saw him, and he had his look, and he was like, you haven't respect my skills. And that motivated me. And when you get motivated, when your name is what I call him, the Mexican machine gun, that right there let me know which one who's coming to that ring on Saturday night. And I don't know if you got an opportunity to see it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to weigh in what I think. When I heard Charlo speak, did you see Charlo? Did you get a moment to hear Charlo speak? And if anyone else did, drop it down in the comment box. We're going to highlight what you're saying. What was your takeaway when you saw Charlo?
When I saw Charlo speak, I had two takeaways. First of all of the overhyping and everything that he had when he first got the fight, it kind of was like the air was let out the balloon a little bit, because they say that men do strange things on death's doorstep. And it's not like, to me, like he was finally just kind of waking up, and realizing, like, man, it's all on the line here. This is not going to be an easy fight, and the upside is great, but I got to go out here and perform, or it's going to be a tremendous letdown. And to be honest with you, I think he also realized that the short amount of time that he had to prepare wasn't quite enough.
Well, I always got my viewpoint from experience, and I look at, when you take a fight of this magnitude, because of you wanted the magnitude, but the X's and O's you overlook. Anybody out there who's taking part in making a decision and you did it off of impulse and you're thinking about what if, in some likes, that's okay. But then there's the reality of this situation, because there's a reason why there is a 160-pound weight class and then a 168-pound weight class, which is where we know the fighters and the guys who are coaching, we really know deep down inside how this fight should play out. What we're looking to see is if there's going to be a great fighter that surfaces that we were overlooking the whole time. That's what everybody's watching for. If you have another reason why you're watching, feel free to drop it down. Let me see. I gotta let my man say. He seemed a little nervous. This might be the biggest stage he's ever been on. Well, if you haven't been in the ring with Anthony Joshua, Canelo Alvarez, or Floyd Mayweather, then it's going to be the biggest stage. Now, when you get on a stage of this magnitude, Otis, you can speak to it because you got an opportunity. You fought for a belt. When you fought for a belt, you've been in that ring multiple times. Where was that moment where you said, man, I ain't used to this?
When I fought against Danny Green and I went to Australia, another country, and people was acting like I was one of the Beatles. Like I was like, whoa, man, I've been on
Yeah.
reality TV. I've been in, the subject of a lot of stuff, but this is crazy. I got paparazzi jumping out of the bushes, scaring my wife at the time, and
Yeah.
and it was just like, and she even turned to me, and we got back to those. She was like, I want to go home. I'm not even, this is kind of crazy.
Wow.
And that's what we talked about. One of the last big fights is that you get on this stage, and we were explaining to Mosley Jr. that sometimes when the promoter says that he reserves the right to have you do all of this media and everything, but sometimes, man, those cameras and everything, they and people take your energy, and to the point where like
Yeah.
a couple times in fights of big magnitude, like you see my eyes and they look like this, and people
Yeah.
are like, "Oh, were you afraid?" I'm like, "No." By the time I got through the weigh in,
Yeah.
I was so drained that my
Yeah.
eyes look like this because
Yeah.
the cameras are zapping
Yeah.
everything out of me. They're still in my
Yeah.
soul, at
Yeah.
that point. And I think that if you don't have a buffer, a regulator that can control that, like a coach or a manager, then you can
Yeah.
get into some bad situations.
Yeah. And I must give fighters credit because when you fight, you're a different breed. That's your benefit. The only thing is the fact that it's such a barbaric sport, you have all this courage and you're internally you're a hero because you'll stand up if you saw somebody doing something to someone else. A fighter fights, right? So that's your gift, God-given ability to be a physical attribute and take that and use that. Now, when the other people also have that exact same superpower, one of the things that a fighter has to have is a second set of eyes. That's why you get management. That's why you have people who match make. That's why there is an actual process. That's one of the reasons Floyd was 50-0 because they understood how to build his career. And a lot of people are like, well, he's this or that. Like, no, that's the benefits of 3 generations.
Mm-hmm.
Get it? And so what happens is a guy sees a big stake. The thing about it is sitting in the middle of the ocean and there's a great white shark there. So he dives out there because he wants the stake, but he doesn't realize what's at stake.
Mm-hmm.
You won't get that stake because you're going to get eaten by the shark. But your impulse is hero. Your impulse is I gotta have it. My impulse is the only thing I see is the shiny object syndrome. And that's what happens when an athlete who's a fighter and a hero don't understand how to turn that thing off or have that advisor speak that into his ear because I advise many guys, I still advise where they're in a certain particular place and even having people on recently with us speaking about, hey, it sounds like a good idea, but have you thought about this and this route right here? Play it the rest of the way out because your hero ball could get you put in the middle of the ocean with that great white and you never see that state. There are
Mm-hmm.
many people that got into the ring, even Robert Guerrero, when he got in there with Floyd and he said, "This is your last meal." You know what I'm saying? This is the top. You don't get to stay up here. You get what I'm saying? So I'm gonna take a question. You can co-sign on that. Let me see. Here it go. I think the fact that Charlo has cut less weight, is why he isn't as irritated. No, yeah, that definitely has a good one. Tyrese, that was definitely, yeah, he hadn't gotten irritated, but that's his nature. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
human behavior. One thing about boxing is everything you do. I remember this quote from Mr. Miyagi. He said, "Karate is everything, and boxing is everything." Every area of your life, you add boxing, you use the principles of boxing. Don't get emotionally involved, look before you leap, and always stay defensively responsible. So if people are trying to reel you into an argument and a fight or get up under your skin, like guys like Adrian Broner used to do, Muhammad Ali did it great. All of these guys, even Archie Moore, did it in his own tactful kind of way. Guess what happens? Then you've already lost your first line of defense. So they've already undressed you. I remember when Bernard Hopkins fought Tarver, he brought him like a diapers or some kind of perk to the press conference because he wanted to get up under his skin. And then Tarver, who's a purist boxer, skill wise, came into the ring ready to hammer Hopkins, and Hopkins was coming 2 weight classes up. Different kind of style. I always tell people, cuties can get away with it. Chris Bird fought guys 30 pounds heavier than him his whole career.
mm,
Cuties can get away with it because they defensively minded first. So if you box or if you're a person and you're interested in learning one of these combat sports, you got to always remember this. Boxing doesn't care about your impulse. It's all about controlling your impulse. And that's exactly what I saw when I saw Canelo yesterday. Canelo was here. He was like, you don't believe in my skills. Just wait. And he's like,
yeah.
I don't fault guys. And he's like, nah. This is
Exactly.
different. You're gonna
It's a
he's
different
I
world.
love how he said this. He said, you're gonna see. You're gonna see. No, 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 no. You're gonna see. And when
Yeah.
I see that, I know we're gonna get a good fight because I know what kind of dude Jamel is. And
And that
so, did
also
you see
means
the?
that Canelo's done his homework too. He's
Yes,
watched
yes,
every fight
yes.
that he's fought, and he's broke it down to the point where he can actually see where he's going to take advantage of this guy. He's confident in it. You
Yeah.
know.
Here's a good question right here. In my opinion, is Canelo Alvarez on the decline? If so, does Charlo have the skills to beat him in a 12-round decision? Triple G didn't knock him out, so that's out of the question. So, great question, King. I like your name, King Adams. That's cool. So, King, here's the deal, and Otis, you can weigh in with this because I got like 20 questions on the screen that I got to get to. So, if you got a question, drop it down. There's a good chance I'll get to it. Now, I do think Canelo has reached a peak. And when you lose a fight, there's a chink in your armor, no matter what you say, that stays with you, even though you win your next fight, because you win, because you're expected to win. I don't think Triple G ever got Canelo out of bed anymore after beating him when they fought the second time he won that fight. So I just don't think nothing else mattered to him when it came down to Triple G. So I don't think that boosted him. I think right now, transitioning from the zone, going over to PBC, and seeing the Roy Jones recipe get implemented. Beat up on the little dudes and get your flowers. And I think what's about to happen, King, is that Canelo is about to go the Bernard Hopkins route, a la Bernard versus Trinidad, a la Bernard versus De La Hoya. He's going to get a bunch of guys who think they can handle the smoke
Mm.
because they feel he's on a decline. I think he's got a new resurgence. I do believe he had injuries that he just He's stubborn. He's a fighter. He's a killer. Heroes have that mentality that no matter what, they're going to go in the fight. They don't want a day off. They want to keep playing. Ronnie Lott was in a Super Bowl and said, if my broke his finger and they said, we got to cut it off if you're going to play. That's the only way you can play. He said, cut this thing off. Boom. Story. The rest is history. 4 Super Bowls. You get it? That's hero ball, though. That's I'm going to do it under any circumstances. I think Canelo had lost purpose, and things and time catches up with you. 70 fights is real, and it starts to wear on you, and there's no real motivation because you're over there where the zone is at. You're not fighting any names. You're not in the mist. Now you've seen Ryan Garcia versus Tank. Now you've seen, Errol Spence versus Crawford. And I got a question to ask you guys about this fight right here, because I'm in the opinion that Crawford and Spence will be trumped by the performance in this fight right here, because I think the style is really, really, really good, because one is an offensive fighter and the other one's a counterpuncher, aggressive counterpuncher. So I do think that Canelo has a resurgence. I think he needed to be motivated. I think he needed to decide, I want to fight some tougher guys, but they're smaller. Nobody really, really will fault me for it.
Yeah.
So they small, but they bigger. So they big enough for me to say I beat up a guy who's a killer. And that's where he is. So I think you're going to see the best Canelo. I think the combination puncher. I think the guy who will walk you down. I think the guy that will move and change up looks. He's going to do that. He's going to give Charlo different looks, because when he's defensively responsible with his offense, which is what he did more of in the first Triple G fight, which is why a lot of people didn't give him that fight. I did, because I said I scored great defense. Yeah, he was tired because he was fighting in a new weight class. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to get comfortable there. So I gave him a little bend. I've done that twice with Canelo. 2 fights that he could have possibly lost: Erislandy Lara and Triple G, the first one. And I'm going to explain this to you guys. I'm going to get to your questions. Let me see if there's something else right there. I think my man, I was thinking the same thing. Good question. Yeah, so I think you're going to get a good one. What was I about to say? When he came, when you see him, and he really has now this perfect energy, to this resurgence, that he will focus on clinically breaking this guy into, taking him into areas in the ring that he's never been. That's going to be fun. And in any training camp, that's something you look forward to, being able to display your skill, because this guy doesn't believe in your skill set.
Yeah.
He's like, oh man,
Yeah.
somebody. And guess what? I think he didn't see big fights happening. I don't think he wants to fight Benavidez until Benavidez gets some chinks.
Yeah.
It's been in some real fights, and that's not bad business. This is boxing.
Yeah.
And so that is where I see it. I see that he will come in there and then perform. Now, and when I look at Charlo, another one of my favorite fighters, because of how he comes out, his mentality, the ability that he comes with. I think he's the meanest guy in boxing. I think he's the absolute meanest fighter in boxing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask a couple of questions. And I want any of my Spanish, Espanol speaking individuals out here who's watching how to use a couple of things that I want to share and find out is Canelo fighting to prove he's the best fighter of Mexican descent to ever have laced him up? Is that why you think he's fighting now? Because that's kind of the picture that I see, that right now he's fighting again for something more because he's really been Americanized and I in speaking English and all of that stuff. But do you think now he's found a resurgence to fight for that Mexican title again? Not the undisputed title, but the Mexican title. And I'll let you know why I went there. Let me see. I got my guy. Defense before, during, and after the punch. That's right. What was my man name? Chris MVP. You're right. Defensively responsible uh is important. Now I'll take it back to the Plant fight. And I want to see anyone answer that question. Is Canelo fighting to win over his Mexican heritage again because of the simple fact that he's not had that real I'm down for y'all vibration. I just don't know. And I want someone, only someone that's Mexican can answer that question. Let me say, if Canelo fights the way he fought Plant, Charlo in trouble. Charlo in trouble with being heavy on the front foot. He tends to get hit a lot in between combinations. Yeah, that's a good one. What would you say? Still, yeah, Canelo. If he fights like he fought Plant, Plant was boxed good, don't you think? Oh, don't you
I
think
think
that?
Plant boxed very well.
Yeah,
Plant the problem with Caleb Plant is that he doesn't wear shots well.
he don't
Um,
sit him.
he fights very good on offense, and he has a responsible defense. But if you ever do get into a war of attrition with him, even in the fights that he's won over the years, he looks like he was in a car accident after him. So he just doesn't wear shots well, and I think he just lost the war of attrition against Canelo, and Canelo saw that happening, so that's why he did get on the front foot and start
Yeah,
making him feel some of those shots. Now,
yeah,
the other thing that is also very important while bringing up the Plant fight is that Plant has a lot of wrinkles, meaning that he has a lot of
yeah,
strategy in what he does.
yeah,
Charlo does not. Charlo's more of a I'm tougher than you. I'm a bully. I'm gonna run you over. I'm gonna walk
yeah,
you down type guy. And,
yeah,
and you can't outbully a bigger bully.
yeah. Well, I got a question for you too. After I get this done, because my man has. How does a taller Charlo respond to 168-pound body shots? Smaller waist, and I guess you guys saw that video I put out today and yesterday. The smaller waist, easy to get to. What you think? Good question. Still, I think that what happens when a boxer gets into the boxing ring, right? And you're tall, which is if I was a boxer, I would choose to not be the longer rangy fighter like the Lennox Lewis types because you really got to have a superior right hand. And most times, more times than not, you're going to need to daze the guy so he don't want to fight anymore. Like Lennox Lewis did Tyson. He hurt him in the first round. Tyson was never the same. He was just going through the motion after that. Same thing with Holyfield. Holyfield hurt Tyson early with the elbows, the head, the shots to the hip, and that's craft, that's caginess, that's survival. It's a fight. You have to learn these things. So if you're a tall fighter, here's the thing: you better have a great hook off your jab. You got to know how to half step back and uppercut off of your jab, and you got to know how to put the right hand behind your jab like Larry Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
How do you perform against a guy who's going to rip your body? Because that's what Canelo said he was going to do. I'm going to hit him to the body so much. You know what I'm saying? So you can just imagine what his practices is like. And I think I got to rewind back to what I was speaking to about Canelo. He had injuries, and I also believe that played a part mentally in what he could actually do. He said he wasn't able to do mitts. He wasn't able to hit the bag like he put on for the social media, the cameras, but he couldn't actually do what he likes to do inside of that boxing ring gym. That's the big part. But if you're Charlo, you have to take a page from Bernard Hopkins. And here's what Bernard Hopkins would do. All right. Smart boxing is guys come up in weight who are slick fighters. Hopkins, Chris Bird, Willie Pep. They can fight anybody, but they can't stand there and exchange punches with them. So this is a lesson that all of you coaches are going to get right now. When you are fighting a guy, and Floyd Mayweather is a guy who walks around probably right under 140 when he was fighting, right? He wasn't a 147 guy. That was with, sandwiches in his pocket. And I used Floyd because Manny had to do the same thing. I know because my guy was his chief sparring partner for 5 years. You have to know how to dismantle his offense. Hand check first. And then you have to learn the 5 layers of defense. What's feet, knowing how to control his body from the waist, hips. This is elbow, shoulders, and hand check. And so that's what you have to know how to do. Lennox Lewis, take a note, guys. Lennox Lewis, Vladimir Klitschko all had Emmanuel Stewart. Thomas Hearns. Thomas wasn't as defensively sound because that was still early on in Emmanuel Stewart's career. He figured out how to master another layer of defense. This is the thing. So when you're a longer guy with a long reach and a small waist against a body puncher, it's all about learning how to pop, 2, 3, use the hook, turn them out, right? Spin them. You got to learn how to use all of these different periodic table, these offenses and these defenses. So your defense comes off of your offense. So when you pop, and you hit a guy, now you use your body weight to get you out of that position. Then when you throw anything, if you're standing in the center of the ring, you got control, you can't just shoot the jab and double jab. You do have to throw the hook, boom, off the jab. And the reason why that is because he's going to close the distance because nobody wants to stand at bay and get hit with a jab. 1, it hurts. 2, it's embarrassing, and it drops your confidence down. Now you're about to go to the corner and get cursed out. And so these are the things that if you're a taller fighter, you got to know how to boom, hook, and hook yourself out. 1, 3, 1, 5, or 1, 2. These are important things. And then you have to learn how to throw and tie up, turn, push off, take that with you. All of these little tricks that you have to master. So when everybody else is doing pad work and all that, you're working on craft. You're learning how to be cagey. And that's why Lennox Lewis ended up getting everybody back. The 2 people that knocked him out, they all paid the price because he understood the mastery of the boxing and how tactically to take that thing back over. And so
Lennox Lewis and Bernard Hopkins are outstanding handicappers. What they do is they take your best weapons away and then they dare you to do something else. So that's one thing that would help Charlo in this fight. And the thing is that Canelo is letting him know, hey, I'm going to make this a Mexican style fight. I'm coming to snatch your body. So it would behoove him to use his length to get his work and then get out of the way. A lot of people didn't watch the Bivol fight and really understand what he did. What Bivol did was he would get his points, he would hurt Canelo or he would hit him, but he wouldn't stay there for the receipt. He would get out of the way. It even got to one point in the fight where Canelo was trying to wave him in like, nah, come on. He's like, why? I'm beating you from out here.
Well, we got Derek James. Special shout out. We got Derek James on. Derek is like, let's go. So this is exactly what I was telling. And I know that Derek understands what they got to do. So this is the recipe. What we just said. I already know that you got to do what you got to do to shut that faucet off with this guy. And when you got this kind of a fighter, when I heard him say that, I'm like, yo, they just telling him, like, one thing you got to learn to do is bite your tongue. Do not tell anyone what you plan to do. You haven't heard Charlo say anything about what he's gonna do. That's what you got to do. And what we find out with these these athletes and those who aren't mentored right, they always end up spilling too much. Now I'm starting to see very few people say that I'm taking control over what we do, because what we're going to do is going to be a surprise. And I know how to handle these guys. And when you handle these guys the right way, the fight plays out. Yeah, you don't get to floss and hang out and party over the weekend like you used to, because now you're training. So you got to have a sacrifice. No, you're not going to build up the buzz by telling people what you're going to do before the fight, because now you learn through experiences. Let them figure it out when they raising your hand that night, that you knew exactly what you were doing and why you were doing it. That's what is the most important thing right now in these kind of fights. I haven't heard anything about what they were going to do. Now, Reynoso and them have leaked. And so that's the kind of thing you got to pay attention to. That's when these opportunities for the apple cart to get upset happens. When you
Yeah.
do things that's hard to do. It's hard to eat right every day. It's hard to go back to the gym another time. It's hard to keep watching more film. And it's hard to be disciplined and not sleep with your wife 10 times. You know what I'm saying? It's the things that eventually have a check coming later that you have to do. You can't get the check right now. So it's just like people who invest. They invest in properties because they're going to see the return in the long haul. They're not going to get the money today. And those individuals who are willing not to give the media everything that they want, revealing their game plan. This is why this is so important. Let me see. How come Charlo just didn't fight Benavidez instead? Why would he fight someone that just bring value like that? He's supposed to fight the. This is
The
let
top
me
dog. Yeah, he wanted to be the top of
okay.
the food
Otis,
chain.
I want you to take this, because what people don't understand, people do not understand is you get to fight for a short duration of your time. And I even said coaches even only get to coach a duration of time. Before you know it, it's over. Like you see guys like Virgil Hunter and you see Freddie Roach, they don't have those superstar fighters anymore. So you got to take these moments and you got to embellish them so that you can now see the long path. And you don't fight people that are just going to be a problem and there's not a lot of upside. Boxing is a business. And
Yes.
when you have the business that you're taking this and you're utilizing it as a plan, this is an investment. It's a time investment. And for your time that you invested, you want to get paid for it. Not just financially, but for your decision. This is going to cement Charlo in a way in history that no other 10 fights could have. It the same reason Shane Mosley fought De La Hoya, the same reason that Bernard fought De La Hoya. It was the same reason Floyd fought De La Hoya. Brand, the brand, and these guys don't quite understand that. I even have advised, been in, or contributed to over 40 world championships when it comes down to the camps. And the only reason that I decided that when I see these guys not understand that this is a long game in a short period of time, they just want to fight all these different guys and people are calling you out and they just don't understand. You're not big enough. You're not big enough for me to fight you. You have to earn. You have to know how to sell tickets. Hence is why I told our client, you have to know how to sell tickets. And right now, you don't quite understand how to sell tickets. That's why Jake Paul is taking over from a business standpoint in the sport.
Yeah.
because he know how to sell tickets. Ryan Garcia sells tickets. Tank sells tickets. You know what I'm saying? Errol Spence and these guys have Jerry Jones in their corner. Like
Mm.
proximity is power.
Yeah.
Utilize leverage. And so there are some athletes and teams doing it right, and there are some that are just impulsively just jumping out there, wanting to fight, not understanding business, not bringing any value to it. Can't sell 11 tickets in a 10 stadium seat, 10 seat stadium. This is the thing that we have to educate our guys, and I just think this weekend when this fight is brewing. Yesterday, I saw the press conference and I was just like, I was really excited because Canelo did say why he was not happy with Charlie's like, and Charlo was like, all right, you get the, all right, I don't like your skills. I don't think you got like,
Yeah.
all right,
So
you act like we kids at the playground. I gotta like your stuff. I don't gotta like your skills. Like Mayweather would always say,
skills pay the
you get an
bill.
opportunity. You get an opportunity on Saturday night to show me your skill. I'll respect you when the fight happens and we end that throwing. I'm either gonna say you done or I respect your game. Not
Let,
I
let
just
me
respect you.
let me say this though. So what Charlo should have done is another psychological flip, because it was obvious in that moment that Canelo needed a fire
Or
lit under his feet. You know, he needed to be mad about something. He needed to have drive. And once I would have saw that from
yeah,
Charlo's angle, I would have just said, "Oh, you know what, man? I actually do respect your skills. I grew up watching you. You know, this is an honor for me to fight you. Like, you kind of water down a guy. Like when you see that he needs that chalkboard material,
yeah.
like Dion does with his team in Colorado, or the people that play Dion do to their teams to try to get these guys hyped up. Once you see somebody's trying to get hyped up off of something, you have to know how to psychologically put the fire out.
Okay. I was trying to get the link over here. I dropped it down in the Dirk said drop the link. So I was trying to get the link down here in the chat. I got to see if I can get that. Stay, see if you can get that link to Derek James. And I put it down in the comment boxes. See if you can get it down there. But key is, man, having this moment right now. And speaking of Derek, I just said, man, you got conditioning. Success is all about conditioning. When you got the level of conditioning to do this kind of thing like this, like one major fight after the next, most people don't understand. I used to be trembling, you know, because I was part of promotions, had to sell tickets, had to keep count, have to wrap hands, had to play doctor, have to monitor the operation, everything that's going on. Then
Go
we
pick
got fighters in
everybody
the
up.
ring getting blowed, got fighters in the ring getting blowed away because they teams, guys that were used to be on their artillery. Then you run into the ring trying to give advice to guys who getting smashed. I literally have a story that it almost makes me cry. It's like a Rocky Four story, like when Apollo Creed got hit and you knew he was just gone. So I'm sitting there and I'm gonna tell this in 60 seconds, guys. So wrapping him up. So Rashad was getting his hands wrapped up. So I was like, I'm gonna do this and then I'm gonna, go monitor everything because this other Coach D, we call him Coach D. His name was Derek, but Coach D was working as his cornerman, as Rashad's cornerman. So he was like, get him wrapped up. So I got him wrapped up. While I was doing it, I looked to the ring, and one of the guys that I used to work with, he was in a fight, and they was like, yo, Will getting fucked up. And I was like, so I looked up there, I looked out, and I looked to the ring, and it was about 40 yards away. And this kid was boom, and he caught him with a hook, boom. And you could see the blood leave his face, and the
Mm.
lick was so loud. And I'm saying, I'm like maybe 35 yards away. so far away that they small, but you could see the impact of the punch. You can hear the punch. Arena full. And so I'm like, he didn't realize that he was in the guy's zone. So he was throwing his jab in the B zone, and the dude was coming over the top and counter him. Hence is why the punch was so loud when he was hitting him. So I was like, I saw it, but I knew his corner couldn't because they at the ring apron looking up. So it's hard to really gauge. So I'm running to the ring. I'm like, yo, take a half step back. I'm just yelling. The arena's loud. I'm screaming. And Will jabs again, and the dude just comes over, boom. And literally, that was the end of his career. You could just see the malice. Like when his face turned, the only thing he didn't do is fall and collapse in the middle of the floor. And I mean, everything just left out of me because this is a kid that I helped when he was younger. And he decided to go pro. I said, you're not ready to go pro. You need some more amateur fights. You takes time to develop. But he had gotten this girl in his life and he was ready to provide. I said, well, you're not going to provide off of your first 15 fights anyway. You're not going to make no money. You know what I'm saying? You got to learn how to market yourself. You got to learn the business. You got to learn things. But he didn't. So I just said, all right, we cut ties. And I just said, best of luck. But I love my guys. Because I'm not working with you don't mean I don't rock with you. And to see that, man, I mean, this kid, and then they find out this kid was going up and down the East Coast blasting cats. You know what I'm saying? 5'7", so he was underestimated, but he had super long arms and was just pop, boom, and he was bringing heat, man. And that's the thing. And the bottom line is, if you're working with people, and you got to realize when it come down to this boxing thing, you need people that got experience, and experience is one thing. Experience says matters the most. And so that's why the Mayweather clan, they had experiences, generationals and
Yeah.
stuff. And so you got to have that. A lot of you guys are going out. You got a totally new team. You look at Charlo and you look at Canelo, you know, Charlo got lineage. Derek fought. And Canelo has heritage. The difference is the experience says they need to really be they need to be relevant because you're going to see things on fight nights that you just don't see at the gym. You just don't see at the gym. So um I really 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 am excited about this, and after seeing the press conference, um I really did. Give me see that. Thank you. Link to come in. Yeah, if you can pull it up. But so when you are in that situation, I just want all these young coaches who are watching and trying to learn how to do this thing, and you're by yourself, you're on your own. They reach out all the time, and I redirect them to people that I feel like would help them. Like if there's anything I can do to contribute in the business of the game while these guys are coming up, I try to do it. And so I'm gonna keep going down this progression. And I wish I could get this link to DJ, because I don't know how. I'm trying to put it on the. I put it out there. I shot it down there. So just in case, Derek, if you can see that, I got it in the comment boxes. It's actually in the video now. So if you do, if you're still visible or still here, you can come hop in. I just put the link down there in the description in the comment boxes. But yeah, man. I wrote these questions. One of the things that I got to ask everybody here is yeah, this was about the fellows. All right, let me see. This is because I want you guys to understand your heritage. And I want these other people who are watching our sport, I want you guys to realize that their heritages, and you got to understand where did boxing come from, who was a part of it. I want to see if any of my people out here, compadres, amigos, if they know their heritage. What fighter is from Sinaloa, Mexico? Sinaloa. Because see, if you don't know these kind of things, then you won't know where the game going. You're just watching. And we want to make sure that people are more educated about the sport.
Eric.
And huh? And these are everybody out there. This should be written 1,000 times in the comments. But look, the comments is crickets. Nobody knows Sinaloa. That's Chavez. But I got 5,000 comments on my page. People think they know boxing, but I'm saying, well, if you don't know where something came from, you don't know where it's going. Then we got Bing, Mexico City. You see, it ain't gonna be but a name, sometime
Yeah.
maybe two from these places. But people don't understand the heritage and the lineage of the boxing. You're just watching and you're talking that stuff, and you're not you don't really understand it. This is what we're here to do. Oh,
Anybody
see, my
might know.
guy. Yeah, I seen you. Somebody had time to Google it. Yeah, it was Chavez, but I already said the answer. And the next one was, yeah, and the next one was Barrera. Barrera was from Mexico City. So key is, and that's my boy. you know, I love to see that Joker fight. And then this is my guy right here. This is my guy right here. Tijuana. Nobody got to
Where's it
put
come
that there.
from? I know you like
El
margaritas, so
Terrible, boy, Eric Morales.
yeah, Eric
Eric,
Morales. Hey, is
Eric
this something
Morales.
that Tijuana always brings the villain type guys out?
Yeah.
Like you got Margarita, you got
You been to Tijuana?
yeah.
Yeah, well, see, you got people who are from Cancun and Guadalajara, places that are not
Michoacán,
seen. Huh?
Michoacán, Mexico. That's a big
Yeah, but the thing
grimy
about it
place
is
that a
this,
lot of fighters come from. Yeah,
and when you're talking about fighting pillars in boxing, you got Texas, you got New York, you got Cali, you got South Florida, you got the pillars in DMV area, because that's like I tell people, they don't know about it. I don't care where you are, you need to go to the places that have the hottest smoke. And I saw a video with Floyd when he was going over to Baltimore with Tank, just doing the show up, and they did a show up there like maybe 2 years ago, year and a half ago. And he was like, "Yo, Baltimore real." I said, "Yeah, Baltimore real." Like people don't understand, but see, the thing about it is mentorship ain't at the highest level, because you got people trying to stick their feet in the game for $1, so the purpose ain't there. So we're doing some things. I'm teaming up with the WBC, and we're doing some things, and you know we need good coaches so we can help put some programs in place, and also target areas and send people to different locations so that they can take part and start a new career. And we'll provide with the training stuff to help, you know and you just build your career in boxing the right way and have great mentorship. That's what is so important about today. And after we get done, we're going to announce a couple of things that's really, really important. And I'm looking forward to having such a robust audience of people. We did 9.8 million just on the Meta platform this month, like 9.8 million. So special shouts out to you guys. We're pushing 10 now. And so that's 14 between the two. And then you add the 3 point whatever over on YouTube. So we're heading towards 20 million a month. Like people think we playing, and we are here to help the boxing game and make it provide the kind of stuff that people want and people need to take this sport more serious and embellish it and understand what these fighters and these people, the coaches and the trainers are going through, so they can support and stop denigrating the guys and decimating them. Like learn how to support it without having to go there with it. because these cats, man, I don't think guys just tripping. They arguing like crap on my timeline right now on some of these videos, man. This guys just pouncing to each other. It's crazy. I'm saying, yo, man, it's really not that. It's not like that. You can get energy going without it being negative. And you got so
Yeah,
many
yeah.
people that just don't understand that, man.
Intelligent discussions.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Let me go down here. Um, Let me see. Is Crawford wise in your opinion? Is he wise to consider the 168 fight with Canelo? Well, they gotta see what happened this weekend. But is that something that you would suggest for someone like Crawford coming from 147? What do you guys think about that decision? Because reality wise, that's it's kind of crazy to think about that a guy would just say, I want to lead those weight classes, or you kind of feeling yourself. What
Yeah.
do you think about
You
that?
were
I
feeling
mean, really,
yourself big time.
serious. What do you guys think about that? Go ahead. What's your opinion? You. What do you think
Me.
about him? Yeah. What do you think
Uh,
about him leaving?
listen, as I say all the time on the show, uh, a good big man beats a great little man 9 out of 10 times. It would be almost inconceivable for someone to jump from 147 to 168. We saw what happened when Kell Brook jumped from 147 to 160. He got his whole orbital broke out of his eye. You know. So with that being said, I think Crawford and Canelo, the right thing to do would be for them to meet at a catch weight between 160 somewhere like
Yeah.
157 or
Ooh,
something like
Canelo.
that.
No.
Yeah, Canelo's not
No.
going to do that. So and
No. No.
sometimes fights just aren't going to happen. Like it
Yeah.
sounds good to have two big names like that, but it just doesn't make sense for Crawford, someone who has etched herself in the history by being undisputed in two weight classes and probably going to be in three before he's done. Um, it would be unwise for him to do something like that. But money is a very good lure. It's a thing that you can dangle, a carrot that you can dangle in front of a rabbit, and sometimes it corrupts people. But I think that Buds, this is one of those opportunities how we were talking about earlier, where you have to have people that protect you from yourself. So
Yeah. Yeah, you do. You truly do. And if you don't, that's a problem. So I just sent I just think that a lot of people ain't really thinking about this. Let me take another question. It would be more boxing fans out here if it was a if on free TV. Well, I heard Jim Lampley mention this about how when Tyson was kind of pulled away from the networks because HBO wanted to throw that fat money at him. And so then they started to see the ability of what this could do premium television. And so that's kind of how that ended up. That's why some of you guys got to realize this about life and success and what it takes conditioning wise. Some of you have a good idea, but you won't put the energy behind it that is required. So HBO said, hey, this is a thing. And then next thing you know, the next fight, because the first one was Ali Frazier won 1971, March 8th, New York
mm,
City. It's the first one. And then boom, then Tyson came and it was like, hey, we can make this a thing. And it's just about good ideas. If y'all want to see a great video, go watch Big Boy on YouTube with Dana White. I watched about 44 minutes. It was great. Just how he built the UFC. He was boxing fitness. He was in the gym with Roger Mayweather and one other guy who was actually a mixed martial artist, and how he cultivated and just learned the game and just one lucky thing cross over the right person at the right time, and just how things just fell into place, and how the people who are owning the UFC at the current time messed around and kind of blew it. They were like, yo, they ran out of money, and he had just called because he was managing a fighter, Tito, and he was trying to get his money for, Tito, that was owed to him. And from that point, he was like, "Yo, we ain't got no like we broke. We and then he went to some guys who got money and was like, "Yo, I think we can buy the UFC." Like, so if you gotta, sometimes, man, your luck ain't good. The only people that get success, hence is why we approaching 20 million viewers a month, is because we keep pushing. We putting energy behind it. You can come up with a good idea, you can have a vision, but if you're not putting the same energy around that vision, it's not going to happen. Like their camp over there in Houston, they could have put their head between their legs after fighting Crawford and losing. But guess what? They're keeping the movement going. You know, they're keeping the movement going. You got to keep the energy going. You notice one thing about people who are influential right now, they never stopping. This is the opportunity where you got a lot of people sitting back and just watching them. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, you got to understand, in order to get a piece of the cake, you got to slice the cake with energy. And so you might have big aspirations, but it doesn't happen.
Can I weigh in on that pay-per-view thing also? Another thing that a lot of casual fans don't understand is that, because they always want to jump on the bandwagon after a guy's already made it. After Crawford has become undisputed, they want to, oh hey, I'm with Crawford. But if you would have been following Crawford early in his career on on these small pay-per-view bouts or something like that, or on these PBC bouts, not Crawford, but I'm saying like other fighters, right? On these PBC free TV, free Saturday bouts, right? There was a time when there was still fights on NBC a couple years ago also, and there was a chance to attach yourself to a fighter. I remember when me and my boy, this is before I was even in boxing, me and my boy saw Jermaine Taylor on a Everlast ad, right? Just wearing some cool sweat. We like, oh, that's Buddy that won the bronze medal in the Olympics. Hey, he from Little Rock, because I'm from Alabama, right? So I'm like, yo, he from Little Rock, and he be throwing that jab like, something like Larry, man, so ever since then we was on, like, as he's coming up out of the Olympics, we were on every fight, and then all of a sudden now he's on HBO, and he's the HBO guy, and we watching him all the time, so that's how you really get your worth out of boxing. You attach yourself to something that you see in a fighter early, and then when he becomes a Crawford, then you feel validated and a real fan. And if more people did that, then boxing would soar, not just come to a fight party and go, oh man, the pay-per-view was too high, so I'm over here watching. Oh, okay, I like this guy, but I don't want to pay the pay-per-views or whatever. If you invested in that guy earlier, you would see why this guy is inviting you to his house to watch him.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you spot on, man. It's what my man said. You remember back then, the wild world of sports. I'm like, yeah, it's things are in a different. That's a different business model. It's not like that anymore. But you do have opportunity to blow things up or take part in the sport. People don't realize, if you're committed, how easy it is to take part in it and stuff. So, I mean, I'm here on YouTube and Facebook and doing this thing, LinkedIn, and it's streaming. I'm just streaming. I didn't know that the main event is sitting there watching and hey, want to plug in and jump in. It's about, if you're doing something, you're contributing. And we're contributing. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not bashing any of the athletes, any of the coaches, not the sport. We're contributing. We're contributing. And that's what, if you're going to love boxing, contribute the pay-per-view. If it's a pay-per-view, pay for it, because that's the way you get entertainment. These fighters train for 8 weeks for that one night. So you calculate all the minutes and all the hours and years that is combined and condensed. They do that so they don't have to work 40-hour weeks, 50-hour weeks at some job that they couldn't do this. So they're the best of the best entertaining you, and they and allowing people to camaraderie and to have parties and to celebrate out. We down here in Miami and you got everything jumping off, and it's like, yo, it's like, do you understand the economics that that does for your town when you do something like that? Take part. It's real. So hopefully people are seeing it more than I got to pay for the fight. Pay for the fight.
Mm,
You know
mm.
what I'm saying? Pay for the fight. You know what I'm saying? Because that's why you're here. You're not here to miss the fight. Me scrolling around trying to find someone with a free screening room,
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
robbing the people who are
yeah, yeah,
actually
yeah.
sacrificing. So don't do
That
that.
remind me of back in the day when you didn't have HBO, but you had Turner,
Yeah,
or Comcast or whatever, right? And you would hit that little AV button, like just
yeah,
trying to see a
yeah.
little something.
Right.
Man, pay for the channel, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there is. I just think we're coming into a place where people are starting to get things a little bit more,
Yeah,
and that's why I say stuff. You know, man, you ain't been on this show one time, and it's been just nothing. It was no takeaway. You know, because we're contributing, and so that people can think higher. And a lot of these people ain't never been in the sport, so they don't know if they are not shown or talked to. So fortunately, we're able to actually give them some positive food. So I mean, I'm grateful for you to be up here to share. Steve Cunningham was coming. He just messaged me. They in the gym. He's like, "You still on?" I'm like,
Steve O.
"You are funny." I haven't had to pay to watch a fight yet. That kid is world class. Yeah, definitely is world class. Let me see what my man's saying. You get your money back throwing fight parties. Yeah, that's right. Pay for the fight, support the cause, and the key. And that's what we did. I would be like, my place would be the place to go. Special shouts out to my brother and my brother from another mother. Welcome, Steve
Hey,
Cunningham.
what's up?
SS.
I'm sorry I'm late, y'all. My bad.
It's all good, man. We've been up here chopping it up. I
Oh,
had
all right.
yeah, we had Derek James out here on YouTube. I couldn't get him the link though. He,
Damn,
he
that'd have been dope.
Yeah, here you go. I don't know. There you go on the screen right there. But I'm waiting. I sent him a link, but I
Okay.
just did. I was like, I could have sent it to his Instagram. So I did.
Right, right.
Nah, yeah, it's good. We got you guys though. Everybody's good. We want to hear from the Kings, man. So we've been just kind of bulleting people, man. I just want to know one thing. I know your take on the fight is worth $1 million
Oh,
because
that's
I
what's up.
know the minute you heard that he actually got that fight. What was your thought the minute you heard? What was when you heard Charlo at first? Were you confused with Charlo?
Nah, man, I'm telling you, I believe Charlo can do it and is gonna do it. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah,
Um, I mean, and I'm strong on this because of the Bivol fight. You know, look, Charlo, them dudes is big, man. Like they're
yeah,
big. You know, I don't know which one I ran into in Vegas, but it was one of them, and I was like, damn, they be biggish.
yeah. He a little bit
You know,
over.
That's a big one. That
Yeah,
was massive.
yeah.
yeah. They
So
big.
the size matters because look what Bivol did. You know, all you gotta do is just run them hands on him. Boom, 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 boom. Canelo gonna keep doing. He's in that all-time great mode where it's like, yeah, I'm all
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
He relaxed too much. Now, if he come out not relaxed, if
yeah,
he come out on fight mode, then it's gonna be a really interesting fight because then that's gonna open up opportunities for
yeah,
Charlo too.
yeah,
So I'm rooting for Charlo. He home team.
yeah,
You know what I mean? I
yeah,
don't do that. I'm not one of them dudes, man. I don't care if an American fighter is fighting somebody I like from overseas. I'm home team. F
yeah,
that. We need all the support we can get us American fighters.
yeah. I totally feel you. So when you see the fight, did you see the press conference yesterday? It was a great press conference.
Yeah. I saw
Yeah.
most of it.
Yeah, okay, because what I did see finally, it was a little tension that I needed to see.
Yeah.
I saw that Canelo got sparred. I saw that Charlo was kind of like
Yeah, he's on it.
he reminded me of the guy that's actually going to win with the words that he said. And I'm gonna
Okay.
tell you what that was. He said, "You don't respect my skills," and Charlo was like, "No, you got to prove to me
Yeah,
what your like. I'm not
yeah,
just gonna bow my. I believe I can beat everybody that's standing in front of me."
yep, yep. It's supposed to be like that.
Yeah, I was really. Hold up, 1 second. Mic is loud.
You got a little feedback.
Huh?
Yeah, you had a little feedback. I
Yeah, I'm
do too.
trying. I'm trying to figure out what. Hold up. Let me pull myself out and come back in.
Steve, what you been up to? You and the wife.
Say that again.
So what you and the wife been up to?
Oh man, just trying to get bags, make other bags, train my sons.
Yeah.
Just working, man. Trying not to kill each other. We're working
How
on
old is your son? What's his record now? He was. I remember when he turned pro.
yeah, Junior is 2-0. About to have his third fight end of October out
That's
here
good.
in Pittsburgh. So I'm trying to move him, every other month or every month if I can. It's really hard right now
Yeah.
to move a
How's it
new
now?
fighter without a promoter.
Check.
Yeah, yeah. I
It's
got a
hard.
couple guys too. It is. It's insane, man.
A little
Their,
dick.
Can you hear me?
their promotion is different now. Now cats is they more like
Can you
event
hear me?
planners. You
Right,
pay hella
right.
money to get on their cards. Like,
And
what you
yeah, and these
doing?
promoters, right, man. The promoters, they got. I mean, I never had to sell tickets
Hold up.
in my
No.
life, never. And now is everybody got to sell tickets, and I'm like, well, why aren't you the promoter then? Because that's what the promoter's supposed to do. The game
Yeah,
has been twisted and turned backwards, man.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
the
They want
fighter,
you to
the
do
fighter
all
out
the work.
hustles. Say it again.
They want you to do all the work to put their show on.
Right? Yeah, it's
Crazy.
crazy, man. It's crazy. You out doing all the footwork, and then yeah, it's wild.
All right.
It's wild.
Okay. So this is what I was going to ask you right
Yeah.
here. Why does this fight have such a great buzz?
Oh man, because for one, this is anything Canelo does is going to be buzzing, and it's Canelo hasn't really fought anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like recently, in these years, he been fighting Ryder or whatever that guy's name is. I mean, of course, he fought Bivol. That's a big fight. Um, but it's like the other dudes he fought. I mean, Caleb Plant. I'm gonna keep it real. I love Caleb Plant. I like the way he fights. He boxes, but Caleb Plant isn't elite. You know what I'm saying? He's not elite. He's
Yeah.
not on that elite level. I'm not saying he can't get there.
Yeah.
Shit, beating Canelo would have got him there, but
Yeah.
he did, and we saw Canelo beat him. He basically was running in that ring.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
hats off to Caleb. That was a huge step up. You know what I mean? Like whatever.
Yeah.
But and you got it, and he stepped up and took it. So with that being said, though, the Charlos, Canelo was saying he'd never fight them or something to that effect.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and it's like, hey, it's happening now. And look, Charlos is monsters. Them Charlos is bringing a lot of this attention too. It ain't just Canelo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It ain't just Canelo. So it's a very interesting fight because we seen Canelo take the loss to Bivol
Yeah.
recently, and it's like, yo, hold up, this dude. Hey, let's see. So it's a
Yeah.
good rumble, man.
Yeah. I think it has a lot to do with PBC knowing how to market,
Yes, they're great.
and they got a lot of
Al is
fighters
great.
to fight.
Yeah,
You got a lot of fighters to fight. Like
yeah,
it ain't gonna be no scarcity of fighters. So I think
yeah.
that's the thing. And I think all the Charlos needed was a microphone in front of them with a lot of people watching.
That's it, baby. That's it.
Yeah.
PBC is doing PBC is going above and beyond. They putting that Boo Boo Andrade versus
oh, that's that one.
whew,
That's
that
the
fight
one.
right there, man. I'm front and center for that fight, man. I got Boo Boo. I'm telling you, I got
Yeah.
Boo
Yeah,
Boo. I
Yeah.
yeah.
got Boo Boo, man.
Boo Boo's a
Everybody sleep
problem.
on him. They talking about he boring, and I'm like, all right, y'all
Who?
see the skills.
No, I ain't never said that. He reached out when he was first trying to build his stuff up. He reached out and was like, "Yo, I need some help getting my building my I said, you just got to keep being out there, visible.
Yeah,
Don't let
yeah,
nobody, don't let people forget you.
yep, yep.
Don't
Because
let
they,
people
yeah, in
forget you.
boxing they'll forget you quick.
Yeah, you just
Yeah.
got to understand how to make sure that they don't forget your name. And no
Yeah,
matter how that is, do stuff to get your name in the public eye.
no doubt. Social media is a great key for athletes, for fighters, man.
Yeah.
It's a great tool, and fighters got to use it right, and just
Yeah.
put out, like I told my son, I'm like, you gotta post a lot. You gotta post box. You
Yeah.
gotta talk to people. You gotta, what I mean, you gotta keep putting stuff out there because that's the fan base. We can build that. I mean, look at what Ryan Garcia did. Like it's unbelievable.
Yeah. I'm gonna switch the thing. Yeah. I think that when they understand that, and so Steve, since the last time we talked, I've I've focused on helping athletes
Yeah,
understand it. So we kind of got like a course to show them how you got to do it, what the outcome is. We just helped Shane. We took over his thing for a week. He had 5,000 followers almost, like
dang.
in a week. Well, I mean, I just did almost 14 million views last month. This
Oh,
month.
that's beautiful. Oh, snap.
Well, we know what's relevant. If you
Right.
buy, you're going to 10 times that.
Yeah.
I said, let me give you what I got so you can. I said, I want all my followers to be your followers. So let's focus on that. And all we
Right.
got to do is keep bringing you on. And that's what's going to happen. But also
Yeah.
learn how to do it yourself. Deion Sanders, look at them. His son walk around with the camera. We got
Yep.
one around with the camera. And
Yep.
it's about just showing, letting people in.
Yep. That's what
And
it's about.
you can use the voice that you have and create your own narrative when you're building your own personal brand.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get it? And that's
For
what
sure.
it's about. It's not about showing off. You're going to sell tickets because people going to believe in what you're doing.
Right. Right. That's what it's all about. It ain't about
It should
showing
be.
off. It ain't about none of that. It's about putting that work out, letting people see, hey, oh man, who's this guy? Okay, I'm following him.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
next thing you know, I'm gonna get a ticket.
Period. That,
Yeah.
but people don't quite understand that. They don't understand why it's important and stuff. And we're doing that because if the fighters now have the opportunity to everybody feel what it feel like to be Canelo
Right.
and Jake Paul. You
Right.
was a part of that card. Tell them about that card when you was on the Jake Paul card over for Thriller. Triller.
Yeah, man, Triller. They was paying mugs, bro. They was paying mugs, man. I was happy to be there. You know what I mean? Like straight up. I was
Yeah.
very happy to be there. And I got of course, I got props. Jake Paul's like, man, Steve Cunningham, man. I'm like, oh snap. You don't know who know you and still know, I've been out the ring in a real fight since 2017. So
Yeah.
but it's like, yo, man, like, these dudes got respect for me. Triller paying me X amount of dollars just for this. I'm like, what? I mean, it was a great production. It
Yeah.
was a great, it was a great team when they that's when Triller first came on board. They got a whole new setup now. I mean, they got a
Yeah.
decent guy,
Yeah.
David, he's running it, but it's not the way it was before.
Yeah. I remember you came on, you said, yo, man, they make you do that social media.
Yo, right,
Yeah.
right. Right. They was on that. They was on that, man, because this social media is it's the new wave, it's the new fan base, it's the new pay-per-view,
It's the new pay-per-view.
It's
That's
the
what
new
you
pay-per-view.
Review.
Straight up. Shoot, you can get a fighter. If a fighter, like, all right, let's take Ryan Garcia for instance. If
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Garcia just went and got his promoter's license, he can fight Billy Beat Up and stream it
Yeah.
for $30 a joint. He'll
Yeah.
make a couple million.
Yeah.
You know
And
what
so,
I'm saying?
yeah.
He'll make a couple million, but you want to go after the big checks and stuff. He's still gonna
Yeah.
make that type of money. But that's what I'm saying. If you get a guy like that with a fan base, you get a kid with a fan base,
Yeah.
man, you can call your own shots.
Yeah.
Make your own lane.
Yeah. Because Tyson could have fought 35 cab drivers in a row.
Yo, facts. And fill soccer stadiums up. You know what I
People
mean?
just want to see the guy.
They
And
want to see you,
yeah,
and then when you like let's take Tyson Fury for instance. The antics, the trash talk, people love that.
yeah,
Yeah.
People love that. That's one
yeah,
of my. I've been, and getting interviewed now that I'm, cool. I'm thinking I'm gonna retire next year, like officially retire. I do have a fight schedule.
do you?
Yeah, I do,
Where,
but
where at?
we're working on some stuff in Poland though.
Okay, okay.
In
Let me know.
Poland, but some YouTuber they talking about.
Okay,
Some Polish YouTuber, right? I'm like, hey, let's go.
I like that kind of stuff.
look,
And some MMA fighter out there is turning. He wants to turn pro, so I'm about to do a video calling him out, and we'll see if the Polish press, because they got their own world over there,
yeah,
Yeah.
So we'll,
Yeah.
we'll
yeah,
see if they want to do that. But with what was I saying with Tyson Fury
yeah. He
before that,
used it.
like with guys like, oh yeah, my mistake. So my mistake, like I did the opposite of what Tyson Fury did. Like I took boxing. I just took it so serious, and I was because I'm from Philly.
Real
Yeah.
I
fighting.
grew up doing this,
Yeah, yeah,
and I wanted to be respected and known as a tough guy, not starting fights, but if the fight came to me, oh, let's have it,
yeah,
So I was kind of known for rumbling, and so now it's like when I get into boxing, I took that same mindset into boxing with me. Like the tough guy don't talk. The punk's the only one that run their mouth. You
Yeah.
know that
Yeah.
type of. I took that into boxing, which
Yeah.
when it never was taught to me early on. Yo, this is a business, bro.
Yeah.
yeah,
This
yeah,
is a business
yeah,
before anything.
yeah,
Get these fans in the seats. They want to hear you talk a little crap.
yeah,
They want to hear you get hyped. I'm at the
yeah,
press conference silent, but on the inside but I'm
yeah,
like, I'll show you in the fight,
yeah.
and that happened to be good enough. But for that fan base, I needed, man. I never got that. Was that I needed to talk.
You know what? You had so many people. I was in love with you. I mean,
Oh
Appreciate it.
yeah.
all you had to do is just
That next step.
yeah, like you
Yep.
would have been crazy
Yeah.
because they painted you every time. They
Yeah.
painted you, man. And all you had to do then is have a social media. Like if you had
Yo. Right. When I
woo,
fought. When I fought Amir Mansour, 2014,
oh my gosh.
that's when I got on Instagram. Right after that fight, because Facebook, I was on Facebook, but
Yeah.
I just wasn't doing it right. You know what I mean? I didn't
Yeah,
know, but
yeah,
I finally got on Instagram and just started building. In 2014, started building or trying to link with the people. But
Yeah.
social media as a marketing tool to me wasn't. We didn't understand it.
Yeah.
no, it's a lot to understand.
Yeah.
You got to get educated. You can't
Right.
just
Facts.
yeah, or you're just doing it and
And
you're
it
seeing
was a
no
changing
results
of the
from it.
guard. It was
Like
a
Right.
I'm
changing the guard because I remember Steve when we came through, fighting Calvin Davis and everybody. I attached to you because I really respected your demeanor, how you didn't talk mess. I remember uh, uh, DKP, Donna King, and them was trying to get you to talk mess. You was
Yeah.
like, dude, I'm just here to fight. And,
Right.
and
I'm
I,
in
and
a
I thought
rumble.
you came
Yeah.
because you're a military guy, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
And you're a Philly guy. So I actually took that from you and put it into the way I got down. Like, no,
Oh,
this
that's
don't
what's up.
play boxing. Like, I ain't here to
Right.
talk.
Right. Right.
I'm here to win.
Right. I couldn't do that. Yeah, and you said that right. It felt like I was playing and I was too serious, man. When I'm locked in, I'm locked in.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I'm locked in. I got tunnel vision. This the dude. I gotta whip his butt. I gotta look good. Make sure I'm in my training. I ain't had time to do all the antics and the goofy crap,
yeah,
and play. And then to me, it's like, man, like brother. Here's a great example. Brother Nazim, right? Rest in peace. He
yeah,
told me, he told us, like as a squad, he's like, man, he's like, Bernard, you know what happened? Bernard talks a lot of trash. He like Bernard has stepped to a dude, I ain't gonna loosen a white boy, stuff like that. All kind of other stuff when he fought Joe Calzaghe, all kind of other stuff to other fighters. And it's like Nazim was like, he do that stuff kind of to make himself perform, to
yeah,
live up to that standard
yeah,
you know that
yeah,
and fighters are different like that.
yeah,
I
yeah,
felt like if I talk trash, if I lose, I can't live with myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I beat myself up,
Yeah.
like,
You
oh,
have
it was
humility
horrible.
though. See, you're a silent killer. You ain't, and so that's, they were painting your picture. They were painting a picture of you that
Yeah,
really is who you are. And
right.
now I remember J. Marie Moore, Archie Moore daughter, she told me, Archie had to start, using that mouth.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things he helped Ali with.
Oh wow.
He was very intelligent. Archie Moore was light years ahead of everybody.
I just saw a little video on his life, and I was like, whoa, this boy was bad.
Oh my gosh, he is
Bad.
boxing. I
Yeah.
mean, he got more trainers that made world champions because of what he taught them than most people. Than most trainers have fighters that have
Man.
become champions. Like, he is boxing. Like, he ain't
Yeah.
like Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Robinson beat 150 men up, and I mean 190 men up, 179, and that was his.
Right.
Archie
Right.
Moore gave the game away.
Uh,
So you got Tommy Brooks, you got all of these guys. I mean, he taught George Foreman. So that's a downline. I mean, he got
yeah.
tons.
Yeah.
And those guys, they all lived under him at his
That's
house
crazy.
in San Diego. And they learned, and he fed them. And, it was a lot. But he
Yeah.
committed. He contributed to the sport. And we're benefiting from him now. And no one still know how he knocked out 141 men. You
Put
know
him
what
to
I'm
sleep.
saying? Without
Right.
one punch knockout power. That's science.
Yeah.
That's science. Like,
Yeah.
but you know what? How he didn't do that branding. He was loved by all. He was invited to the White House 5 times. So
Yeah.
Reagan, all of these presidents, he was invited. I'm talking red carpet. I'm talking
Bad
front,
man.
but he didn't do that front end stuff like he would have liked to. He started picking up on it a little late, and he did some clever things. You can see some of his campaigns.
Right.
I got a couple of his campaigns that he used, and Ali did it with Sonny Liston.
Okay.
Drove up, got the poster. You know, he was clever,
Yeah.
but he never let that out that way until it was kind of too late.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what we are now. What if your coach taught you, well, here's now what you got to focus on is your personal branding.
Yep. Yep.
Now, so you would have been a whole different animal then, because you would
Yo.
have said, okay, I got to learn this and I got to,
Yeah.
so,
Well, shoot.
but
Let me see. I turned pro in 2000.
yeah.
In 2 years, I got 11 fights, and then I signed with Don King in 2002.
Hmm.
So at that time, we're like, 911 happened, 9/11 happened, and
Yeah.
everybody's patriotic. So
Yeah.
we're like, bruh, Don King. I was with Don. I signed with Don, and we're like, man, Don. I should be one of the biggest, the well-known fighters in America. I'm United States Navy vet, kicking butt.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and they never caught on. Like, but that was
Yeah.
that was us figuring it was up to them to push us out. But and that was before social media,
Oh, yeah.
2002.
Way
But
before.
we felt that Don was gonna really try to push us forward, and nah, man, dude, the Don King has his picks. You know what I mean? He go by the way you fight. He like people that knock people out. So I'm in there boxing. I enjoyed going the 10 rounds, the 12 rounds. I enjoyed it because I'm like, man, I did all this work. I
Yeah.
did all this work. They gonna see me, and I just had fun, like breaking you down, deciphering, watching you break
You were
as the rounds
skilled.
go on.
You were skilled, but you
Yeah,
was good to watch.
thank you.
Yeah. I
I
used to
mean, I
love
don't, I don't look at somebody who ain't, but I like skills.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
but
you
I
and
mean,
Tyson.
it wasn't like a boring watch. You had
right.
skills. You was hitting guys. You was fighting.
Appreciate it. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't just say that. I don't choose people to, because I say the boxing need to hear from people who really contributed to the game. and you allowed people to see you, that it's cool to be committed to a purpose. So you
Yeah.
show that in many. So you are a brand.
Right.
Like if you were coming out now, they built you.
Oh,
What's
no
that?
doubt.
What was that football player that played for the Cardinals and died in the military?
Oh yeah, the
Pat
white guy.
Tillman.
See, yeah, see, now they got murals, they got all kinds of things for him.
Yeah.
So you would have been celebrated while you're doing it because you're no one's still doing it that way.
Right. Right.
You
Right.
get it? So and then you got in there and you was able to build, but that's okay.
Yeah, I
Because
appreciate
sometimes when you
that.
ask for a blessing, it might be 40 years before it come to fruition.
Yeah,
Just
true.
like look, just like Floyd Sr.
Yeah.
He wanted something. He probably prayed. His
Yeah.
mom prayed, and
Yep.
it got blessed through Floyd.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Big time.
You
Big
get
time.
it? So
Big time.
always know that
Same
it's
kind of thing going on in y'all house.
Yo, man. Yeah, we working, man. So yeah, Junior trying to push him, move him. I got my 12-year-old. He's getting back on the national scene
oh
this
yeah.
next month. Yeah, he's a 3-time national champ. We just had he'd been out for like a year. I took him out. I took him out since about 2022, early
Mhm.
2022. I took him out. I just let him chill because I had issues at USA Boxing at the tournaments. They, the cheating and the robbing,
Well, don't even get me
and
started.
so my son Junior, he's fighting this guy and he's on the ropes. He slip. The referee waves the fight off, and we're like, "What the hell are you talking about?" So I snapped out and flipped out on all the judges.
Yeah.
I flipped out because I'm like, "Yo, what?" So my son Cruz, the 12-year-old, he was fighting the next day in the semifinals,
Hmm.
and I told him, I said, "They're gonna rob you tomorrow, bro." You know,
Yeah.
and he was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah." So even on our way to the ring, walking in the ring, my son pointed out, look how the judge is looking at you. They were just
Yeah.
staring at him. So I was just like, all right, I'm like, it's cool. So of course Cruz got in there and put it on that kid, and he should have got the win, but they gave it to the other kid. So
Yeah.
I just was like, you know what? I'm sick of this. We were down in Texas too, and it's like we gotta pay for these a week of travel,
Yeah.
Mm.
hotel, food, flights, rent a car. You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
Yeah.
and to get down here to get jobbed because
Yeah.
y'all want the number one dude to have an easy fight.
Yeah. It happens that way, man.
Yeah, man, it's
It happens.
ridiculous. So,
I had your son on one of my videos. He went viral on my page
oh, word?
the year before. Yeah.
Which one? Junior or Cruz?
I think he had in green and white. It was green and white and blue and white. And he would pop out. He got a knockout. I was like, yo.
Oh, yeah. That's
And I
Junior. That's
tagged,
Junior.
yeah, he nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Southpaw.
He gonna fight. He gonna fight this year though.
Yeah. He's fighting. Well, no, that's Junior. Junior's fight. He's the pro.
Okay.
Uh, Cruz is the one. Yeah. So Cruz just fought. Cruz just fought 2 weekends in a row. He lost 2 close fights, but I'm working on. I'm working on stuff. These amateur fights, like outside of the tournaments, I'm like,
Yeah.
man, we working on stuff. Let's work on something.
Mm,
Of
yeah.
course you want to win everything. That'll look good, but we gotta build. He's coming
Yeah. You
from
learning.
right. He's coming from
Experiences are most
exactly,
important. Experience
exactly.
says. And
And they're
so
growing. So he turned 12. He about to turn 13. So he's
yeah.
getting used to a longer body. It's just a little
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. That's gonna be good.
Yeah,
That's what the game need. Good quality guys being groomed right. See,
yeah,
it's generational wealth. So he's gonna
exactly.
have, yeah,
Right.
he gonna have a little bit of you, a little bit of Nazim, a little
Yep,
bit of this.
yep. A
Like,
little bit of
boy,
his
he gonna be
brother. Yeah, they all,
woo.
yeah,
Hey,
and I got a
Yeah,
Steve.
6-year-old that's just starting.
yeah.
So, I man, look, bro, hey, you ain't gonna be messing with me and you ain't boxing. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Hey, talk about the difference in learning boxing in the military and learning it in just regular USA amateur boxing. Like, because a lot of the greats that have come through boxing, they either learn how to box in the military or they learn how to box in prison. You know,
Yeah.
so what are the benefits?
Well, well, for me, like I always wanted to fight, like living, before I joined the military.
Yeah,
I lived in a neighborhood. The gym was in the next neighborhood, and for some reason, the dudes that was in that gym was like they wanted to I heard they wanted to kill me or something or beat me up and crap. So I couldn't go to, and I'm like, what I do to them? I don't even, I must have fought one of their guys. I don't know, but I never went to the gym while I was in Philly like that. So I uh I was able to get to the gym while I was in the Navy because I
Mm-hmm.
got stationed on the base that was close to it. So from there, it's not that the military helps you. They just had the facility, we had to go. I got a trainer, and then from there, it was like I was doing my own thing. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
we were getting fights on our own in Maryland, Virginia, because I was in Norfolk, Virginia, DC,
Yeah.
North Carolina. We were on the weekends, we do it on our own, just building up our record. But my first amateur fight, my very first amateur fight was against the light heavyweight champ. And this dude had about 30 plus amateur fights, and I beat him. I worked him. People
What?
kept going. I beat him my first fight, and I was just like, yo. So it took me like a year and a half to get on the Navy boxing team. So I finally made it, and then that was it. That got me to the nationals. I
Wow.
won my second national I ever went to, and man, it was just crazy, man. Like
Well, you loaded with.
I loved it. I love boxing.
You got
I
that
enjoyed
pedigree.
training. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Got that pedigree, man. You was
Yeah.
born. You was built for it.
I
You was
feel I
built for
feel
it.
it was something that was on me, man, for a long time. Like I mean, I like the challenge. I like the fight. I like to push myself, and boxing fit all of that. It fit all that, and it's like boxing was calling me.
Is Jennings still fighting out from Philly?
I think he is. I think he was getting ready for something, but
Yeah.
he had a fight, which he's a stand-up dude for this. He had a fight
Yeah.
in 2020 uh to fight for the Bridgerweight title or something like that.
Yeah.
Mm.
And they wanted him to get vaccinated, in order to do the fight. So and he turned it down. He was like, "Nah, that was like two hundred
I
thousand
remember
dollars."
that. I remember that.
Yeah, I was
I
just like,
remember
Man,
"Yo,
that.
that's some stand up crap right there, bro." You
Yeah,
know,
that's real.
they was forcing that thing on people. It's like, "Yo, you want to make this money? You gotta take this vaccine." It's like,
yeah,
bro, it ain't been
yeah.
fighting. Like, come on. So he
I
stood his
see you
ground.
all over.
Yeah, he
Will
stood
you
his ground on that.
will on that note, will Charlo regret taking his fights once he feels the pressure and power of Canelo on the second half of the fight? Do you think that moment will happen? That he will
Nah,
regret taking that fight?
I don't think he'll regret. I mean, look, you're talking about a champion. You know what I'm saying? Like we
Oh
talking
no.
about
Yeah.
champions.
Yeah.
That's minuscule. Unless Charlo's like Mike Tyson. I mean, I'm sorry. Unless Canelo's like Mike Tyson,
Yeah.
that's when it'll matter. Or
Yeah.
probably. But nah, we champions, yo. Champions get in there, and they that's why he's a champ, because he figured out how to get through those type of grinds and that
Yeah.
type of pain, man. So and he really want this, man. I can hear it in the way he talk. I can see it in his demeanor. He taking this joint serious,
I
like
always
straight up.
said he's the meanest guy in boxing. I said
Yo,
that's the nastiest boy right there in boxing. Like
yeah,
he nasty in a
yeah,
fight in boxing, like a guy just nasty after his girl cheat on him. Like
yeah,
he like
yeah. Fact,
he just I
fact.
like and that attitude you can't even. I'm like that dude. He's bringing something to the sport. Like he
Yeah,
keep that chip on his shoulder.
yep.
You know what
He
I'm
I
do
mean,
got
saying?
that
really,
chip.
telling you, got to. Who was that said? I think it was Hagler. He said, "You ain't or you ain't getting up running like you used to, sleeping on satin sheets. Mug feeling
Yeah,
good.
that's exactly.
You got to keep a chip on your shoulder. You have to. You have to. You have to. There has to be an enemy to fight, or somebody. It has
Yeah,
to be anger that you can
yeah,
tap into in the boxing. I know for
much
me,
so. Yeah,
you got to stay there. Man. After
yeah,
oh, these judges don't like me. They gonna try to
Yeah,
rob me. You got to
yeah,
have that extra.
yeah.
you got to have that
And
edge.
matter of fact, that's what we were talking about earlier, because that's what Canelo did to Charlo. He tried to turn it into like, oh, you don't respect my skills,
Right.
and use that as something
Right.
to get vexed over.
Right. Right. Facts.
You got to use it. However,
Got to
you got to
use
use
it.
it. You got to use it. That's what we're doing. We're taking this and giving people an opportunity So we started. Here's the announcement. We started this thing that we want to give people an opportunity to really learn how to really look into the fights and look at the fights and really learn. And so I work for the ESPN The Insider. And when I did that, there was a process that we go through because the handicappers for Vegas, I was that guy. Me, Iceman, John Scully,
Yep.
several other people, that were not from the sport, but we created this thing. It's called the Fight Club X.
Yeah.
And so this Saturday, before the fight, we're gonna take people through this process on handicapping the fight. So this show was for the bettors. So everybody, that link is down there. Go check it out. This Saturday, it's going down. If you don't do it today, it's gonna be in your face. So
That's
what we're
what's
gonna
up.
do is take these guys behind the scenes. Steve, I want you to, like I said before, my messenger is right there. I want to put you guys on some game. I'm gonna give you and your son.
Yeah, we need to talk. I'm with that.
Yeah, because I mean,
I'm with it.
like I told Shane, man, I could have you at 1 million people in an hour. The thing about it, you just got to commit and start
Right,
because
right,
these people want to know about you.
right,
They
right. They
want to
do.
hear, like, all you got to do is talk. You walk in the room, you good looking, you got this sizzle.
Exactly.
Like, dude, people who are already people in boxing just don't know how easy your life will be if you just did that.
Man, look, bro.
That's it. 'Cause
Man, listen, I told you if you mess with me, you box. I got a nephew, man. He looked more like me than my son do.
what? Yeah.
Ripped up. He did a
Yeah.
little time in juvie, come out ripped up. And I'm like, bruh,
Shredded.
let's go. And he want the streets. He don't want to buy. I'm like, dude, this easy money. I'm like, I mean, it ain't easy while you working out, but but
Yeah.
it's easy. You
Yeah.
workout gonna be done. You gonna be knocking mugs out. You
Yeah.
got the name behind you. Let's
Yeah.
go, bruh. And mugs
That's
don't want he ain't want to do it.
believe it or not, believe it or not, that's how George Kambosos got a shot
Yeah.
because his social media, one of the coaches that's in my school told me, "Hey, seen this kid out in Australia named George Campbell?" I'm like, "No." So I pull him up, go to his social media. Kid is out there serious with it. And
Man,
so he manifested all of that. And within a year, he was the champion.
dang.
They paid attention to that. That's how he
Yeah.
got that. He had a following on. He was building
Yeah.
it though. He was working. He was working hard in
Oh
social
yeah.
media
Oh yeah.
as he was at the gym.
Right.
So that happened. And so that's one of the things you got. Like when you do that, Ryan Garcia figured it out a long time ago.
Yep.
And he built
Yep.
this joint. He had 1 million people. You gonna sign me, and you gonna sign me for what I want you to sign me for.
Yep. Yep.
Like, but
Yep.
it's not hard. You just got to wake up and make it your duty. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I'm showing people how to do it in an easier way, and so that it's within who you are. Like you're not
Yeah.
coming out of your character to do it. Like you got to dedicate that time for it. But when you start feeling that love, like Canelo feel, you see why those
Uh
guys
huh.
keep doing it, and Jake Paul and these guys who they just got followings, and I know what it's like. But
Crazy,
now,
man. What Jake
yeah,
did, man. Like I
yeah,
really respect what Jake did and is doing. You know, a lot of people don't
yeah.
like it, but he
What?
they fail to
Yeah,
real. They're looking at the main event. They're looking at his fight, and yeah, Jake hasn't even had an amateur background, so of course he's not going to look polished, you know. But
yeah, yeah.
that's not Jake ain't fighting for the boxing fan who's been here before him.
Mm-mm.
He's fighting for the new fans he brought,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
he
and
brought
it's a lot
millions
of
of
them.
them. He
Yeah,
brought millions of them. You know what I mean?
and
So
everybody benefits.
right,
And then
everybody
the
benefits.
undercard is for the boxing fan.
Exactly. I mean, I'm telling you,
Yeah,
I made six figures. I made six figures for fighting 6 rounds against a guy who never boxed.
yeah. And you
You know,
think
when I
about
fought
how
Frank Mir.
much money people actually get to fight.
Right,
Like you ain't getting
right.
no 6 figures fighting no six
Yeah,
round fight nowhere.
I made that amount for defending my world title. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't bull crapping. I ain't bull crapping. So,
Yo,
so
I'm telling
I'm like,
guys.
man, people don't understand. This dude fight the main event, of course, but on the undercard, it
Yeah,
was Prograis was under there. He was under there.
yeah,
I was on that joint, and he had a couple other
yeah,
fighters from the UK, and it's like, bruh, he putting fighters on now. He's got this whole female promotion thing, man. Dude
Yeah,
is doing
yeah,
some great stuff for boxing, bro. It's
yeah.
dope,
yeah.
actually.
I knew it was real when we fought on the undercard of Roy Jones in Trinidad, and the top check was Roy. That thing was 7 million. Trinidad was 4. Here we down here in the thousandaire.
Damn.
You look at that checks with, and you're like, this game is levels to it.
Who were you
There's
there
a
with?
reason why. Uh,
Who were you there with?
Marinaccio. So we fought an undercard against Roy Jones' boy.
Yeah,
And Roy
I was at
Jones'
that
boy
fight.
name
I
was,
was at the Trinidad Roy fight.
yeah, what's his name? The cat was a heavy, fat black dude. And I think he actually, I ain't positive, but I think I seen him over in the UFC. I think he just got bounced around. His name was Brown. I think it was Brown. I can't really nail it, but Roy was, had him under his
Okay.
name when he had his little
Yeah.
promotion stuff going. And but it was just like the levels, the difference of the money. And
Yeah.
it's like, as I said the most, I said your dad put asses in seats. They still got the
Yep.
record at the Staples Center. So you get
Mm.
more money when you know how to put asses
You
in
gotta put
seats,
them, man. It's
and,
all about fan base. Everything is
and you build your
fan
fan
base.
base here. You already
Everything.
wear gloves. You put on
Right.
them hand wraps, you already got a fan base. The thing about it is you got to let them know you exist.
You gotta let them
And
know
that's
you
it,
exist. Right.
man. That's it, man. So I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna touch base with you again because I don't
Yeah.
want the guys to come up now. I got the recipe. We got companies coming to get my recipe. I'm
That's
like,
what's up.
it's people though. When you in 5 years, what I'm telling people ain't even gonna be a thing. It's gonna be all they know. They're
Right.
gonna,
Yeah.
Right.
so personal branding. Everybody who's supposed to be out there is gonna be out there. But we're gonna give people game. If you ain't doing nothing Saturday, I'm gonna give you the link to the fight club. You pop in, stick your head in there. Look, we're
Okay.
building this up, and it's all like I said, we got millions of people. So we just building
All
something
right. That's
that
what's up.
you can leverage it with your son's career and
Yeah.
leverage my platform. I already told you that. You can leverage my platform. I'm not gonna say, hey, no. If you say, hey, yo, we need to get some exposure. We got to fight. Let me come over here. Let me go over the fight show. Let's build some. Let's get you visible. Put his name
All
out
right.
there. People know about. They'll follow. These people will follow. So y'all go down. We're gonna have the fight club jumping off pre-fight. I'm gonna do a prediction. Steve, what's your prediction for the fight Saturday night?
My prediction is split decision for Charlo.
Wow. Okay,
That's my
that's what's
prediction.
up. Okay. So you think he's gonna go 12 rounds with that boy?
Yeah. 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 I think. Yeah. I think you're gonna go 12 with him.
What you think,
Uh,
Oh?
I really want Charlo to win. Some nationalism stuff, as I said a couple weeks ago. But I really feel like he didn't have enough time to prepare. It was a very short camp for him, and getting acclimated to going up two weight class. I say
Yeah.
unanimous decision because I believe Charlo is durable enough to stay in there the whole time.
Well, I think this is going to be a barn burner. I'm doing my prediction pre-fight, and I'm gonna tell you guys how to go about this thing betting because this is for the betters. We're gonna make sure that we bring some real juice around it because we contribute to boxing. And with the relationship that you guys have with the kids, the relationship you guys have with the sport and your fighters, Otis, because Otis is managing fighters, Steve, if you didn't know.
oh yeah.
So
Okay.
the biggest thing is that we're bringing the people who are really playing a role in boxing together for one, and making sure that they got a place. My place is you guys' place. So you can't ever say, well, we ain't got no exposure. Because when I put it out there, I'm gonna put it out there for real. So I'm looking forward to seeing him continue to make his moves, but do his social media. Because it's gonna be so many guys that get left behind that got a lot of talent because they're
Uh,
not doing the stuff that
no,
they
no,
need to
no.
do.
Just put the
So
suit on today. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
so this is kind of what it is, man. But look, that's it, man. That's all I got. Thank you guys for taking the time to come on. Any questions you guys got? Steve,
Nah, man, I'm good,
tell me
bro.
your plug your page, man. What's your
Um,
page?
all right, you guys hit me up on two Instagram pages. USS Comics. I make the comic books, turning fighters into superheroes, and USS is Legend. That's my main page right there.
Okay. So tell me this.
Yeah.
A person that's about personal branding.
Right.
Why ain't they both just you?
What you mean? Well, because it's one's the comic book.
Listen,
Because
listen. So
yeah.
this is what your social media is about. See, you're you first.
Right.
See, personal branding is people buying into you and
Right.
then what you do, not what you do first. I made that mistake. You see this? Master boxing is all over everything, but it should be Eric Bradley. And guess what I'm doing today? Today, I'm gonna show y'all what I do in my comic book. And tomorrow, I'm gonna show you what we do at this fight. Next day, my
Right.
wife gonna be cooking something. I'm gonna show y'all like that's personal. When you become bigger than what you do, people just buying into what you do. That's how you turn that thing around. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
And
you
then
see
you're gonna have
the
to
I
separate.
see comic books and like boxing. They're already a fickle fan base. Like they're already
Your
fickle. Like
stories though.
yeah, like all they want is boxing. A lot of them. So I found that out kind of early. So and the comic book world, they got their own fan base. And I mean, I share my stuff on my some of it, the big stuff on my main page, but the comic book,
Mm-mm.
it's got its own space. You know what I mean over there.
You have to learn how to do it. Like that wasn't your number one skill set. Like you didn't. That wasn't your number one skill set. That's something that people have to see. Like your son will learn because he's young.
Right,
That's how these guys have done it. Because
right,
we always believe that people they don't want us, they want what we do.
right, right,
But that's personal branding means the person and whatever you touch.
right,
So fans, there's comic book fans that love comic books, but I got people that work for me. They never watched boxing because they talk to me and we talk about it how we talk about it. They fans now
right,
because they followed me. They didn't follow the boxing
right.
and whatever else I do. So it's about understanding how that actually works. You just when you came out before and you just fought because that's what you knew. You didn't
Yeah,
understand how do I really build myself as a brand. Like that's a whole different thing, man. So
yeah,
just know, but that right there, your stuff, because see what people gonna do, they're not gonna go to either one because it's like too confusing. So
yes, sir.
you have to become well, this is what you gotta know because you want that to grow. Because I've seen your comic book work.
Yeah, thank
You
you.
know what I'm saying? Even if you just say, hey, let's do something where we come out there and show my stuff. Like, dude, I'm like, you know how many directions that thing can go? Because you let
Oh
people
yeah,
who are watching tell you what they want. And
right.
that's how you know how to make your next move. But I thank you for coming up, man. I know you
Hey man,
doing your thing and you
appreciate it.
took the time to come up here. I appreciate you coming up here. I always do. And I got your back. I'm here. If whatever you need, anything
All
that
right,
come
yeah,
across your mind, just hit me up.
we can talk over the weekend or something.
We got to, because I'm gonna do a show on Saturday at 12. I'm gonna
Okay.
just do a for the betters. This is for the betters, and we're gonna come up and we're just gonna do something awesome. And then we got to spin off because we had a direct conversation about it. But I'm gonna be
All
so
right.
pumped up this weekend because that
Yeah.
press conference was great. I
Gonna
was
be
like,
crazy. Yeah.
now I'm really motivated. I can't wait
Right.
to get
Right.
in there and get that smoke, man. And we about to
Right.
watch history, two real killers. It just
Yep.
don't happen like this, man. This has been a great year of fighting. A
It
great
has,
year of
man. It
fighting.
has.
I
It
want
has.
I wanted to stay this way, but look, man, you be blessed. and keep that kid right under your arm, man, and bring them up and give them that lineage and those experiences.
Yep.
And you and your wife keep being an example out there because y'all got a power thing going on. And I
I
appreciate
appreciate
you,
it.
brother.
All
My
right, man.
man.
Take it easy.
All
Yep.
right, guys, be blessed at Godspeed. I'll see you guys soon in the winner's circle. Remember, come out Saturday, 12 o'clock p.m. We're going to get it popping. I'm going to teach you guys some of the stuff that I learned from the great ESPN. And we're going to do that stuff and keep you guys in the know. And this is the good energy. This is the kind of energy that we need to bring to the fight game and make sure that no matter what happens, you are on deck because this is going to be electric. It's going to be on Zoom. It won't be on the page. So you got to go down there and click that link. I think it's down in the comment boxes. Go down there and jump on because we want to see all of you have an opportunity to join the Fight Club, the Fight Club, which is the new and the premier fight subscription for you guys to give you the sneak peek on the inside of how the fight game really go and really how to handicap. Let me go ahead and stop joking. You're gonna learn how to handicap Vegas style. That's it, man. Be blessed at Godspeed. Thanks once again for tuning in to the fight show, and I'll see you guys next Saturday. This fight weekend, September 30th, is going down. Jump on board, subscribe, and I'll see you all soon in the winner's circle. Peace out.